What's good? It's your boy Jay, that's me. We're going to get into TNA Impact from February the 20th, 2025. This show was very solid. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode of TNA Impact. TNA did tremendous work. This was a great show. Yes, there are a couple of bad spots here and there, but this show hit it out of the park. So we kicked the show off with Joe Hendry. He does his encore concert. He said he'll face anyone from any company. So much that he wrote a song about it. He sings that Joe Hendry has a surprise, and Sheamus couldn't even believe his eyes. His favorite moment was beating The Miz. He says it's hard to be humble when you're in the Royal Rumble. The crowd cheered for that one. He would have won if not for Roman Reigns. So then the Colognes that bring Primo and Epico, they showed up. That was great. So they interrupt Joe Hendry. They said they're making their TNA debut. The fans chant, "Where's Carlito?" which is great. They said that they're going to take care of business. So the lights go out, and Elias, now known as Elijah, he shows up. This is great. The crowd chants, "Holy shit!" And I did the same. This was great. So Elijah, he sings. He says he sees two men looking to fight, so he decided to join TNA tonight. He asks who wants to walk with Elijah. The fans chant, "Oh, walk with Elijah." He plays the guitar to the tune. The fans chant, "This is awesome." He says these guys made their debut, and he came and made it even better. He asked Joe if he's got his guitar ready. So Santino Marella comes out and books Joe Hendry and Elijah versus the Colognes. Elijah says there's no reason why they can't have a concert right now. They sing Elijah and Joe Hendry. They're going to raise some hell. This was great. I love this. This was absolutely tremendous. This was excellent. We got two debuts for the price of one. I know there were rumors and reports that Elijah had signed with AEW, mainly Ring of Honor, because he did a vignette with the Righteous, Vincent and Dutch. So that turned out to be false, and I'm glad that TNA has signed Elias. It makes sense. Elijah is perfect for TNA. He's a character wrestler. Now, hopefully, the Righteous will show up in TNA. Maybe Tony Khan might release them, and they can come over to TNA. That could be a possibility. But this is great. This is great. This is excellent. Really good stuff here, because it shows you that TNA does care, and TNA is trying to grow and trying to change as a promotion, which they are. I'm very happy that TNA signed Elijah. Great call on them. Excellent stuff. Excellent. Moving on. So, Gia Miller is backstage with Leon Slater. Leon says the system sees him as a young boy to hold the titles and to hand them drinks. Leon says the system might not respect him, but he doesn't need the system. He says he's going to beat the ass of JDC, Johnny Dango Curtis. All right, that's fine. Makes sense. It does not happen at all, so which sucks. Moving on. So Gia Miller, she's backstage with the Colognes. So Orlando says that the company needs them and their family history and tradition. He says this is legacy, and now this is TNA wrestling. This is great. Tremendous stuff. First match of the night. The Rascals, Zachary Wentz and Trey Miguel, they defeat Tyson and Tyreek. They win via the Swanton Bomb, which is great. Excuse me. So, post-match, Wesley gets on the mic and he suggests that there's going to be a 6-man tag at Sacrifice. The Rascals and Ace Austin versus Wesley and Tyreek and Tyson. Okay, that's fine. That should be fun. I'm glad that TNA is building towards Sacrifice because it's in like 3.5 weeks. It's on, I think it's March 14th, I believe. So that's fine. Good stuff there. I'm glad they're still using, I'm glad they're still doing the NXT crossover. The NXT TNA crossover. Great stuff. Great stuff. Moving on. So First Class, they show up. They introduce some people from the entertainment industry. Noel Foley is among them. AJ says Roddy doesn't get the credit he deserves for Hulkamania, and he doesn't get the credit he deserves for Hendry Mania. He introduces the first guest to First Class, Penthouse. Some say he's phenomenal. Others say he has a lot of style. He introduces AJ Francis. He says that guy left this place to go to that place, but he left that place to make this place great. This was lame as fuck, all right? This was absolutely whack and a waste of time. I didn't like this segment, but it is what it is. Who cares? I don't understand why they're pushing AJ Francis. I don't understand why. I'm a fan of Casey Navarro. I really am. He's pretty good in ring, and obviously he can play a pretty good character. But come on, dude, really? Moving on, Xia Li Ying Li defeats Rosemary via the Thunderstruck. Post-match, Xia Li got the mist in her eyes about Rosemary, and then they took her to the back. That's fine. I'm glad that Xia Li is back. I'm hoping she's okay. We rarely see her. She might be on a per appearance deal. We've not seen her. We see her every blue moon, it seems like. But I'm hoping that TNA is able to actually lock her in a 2 or 3 year deal with the promotion because they need Xia Li. But also, they need to start rebuilding that Knockouts division. It's not where it needs to be. And I think that maybe if they end up signing maybe Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, Lacey Evans, maybe Indy Hartwell, and you bring in Blair Davenport, I think you could have a strong division with those names. And I think that division will be pretty good. Oh, yeah. They could also bring in Alba Faya. That's if she wants to work with Tessa Blanchard. But right now, you don't have any heavy hitters in the Knockouts division outside of Tessa Blanchard and Masha Slamovich. So, I don't know. But hopefully they can rebuild that division, because that division definitely needs some fresh blood, for sure. I'm not going to hold you guys up on that one. Moving on. So, we get a lame Sami Callihan vignette. He says wherever Mance Warner and Steph Lander are, he's going to find them. So he walks backstage. He finds them, and they have a little brawl, and Sami ends up hitting Mance with a camera. Who cares? Sami Callihan is a fucking also-ran. TNA really needs to rid itself of guys like Sami Callihan and Moose, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and all that. I get that Moose is having a little mini feud with Oba Femi, but once that's over, they have got to start releasing guys and girls that don't make them money like that. I'm just being serious. My bad. I'm just being real. Speaking of guys who need to be released, Eric Young comes out. He says that Judas and Travis were pawns under Josh Alexander's leadership, and they were boys. But under his, they'll be men and champions that stand at the top of this company. He says no one else has sacrificed like he has. He says he's the gatekeeper, which is true. Eric Young literally sucks. He says there's one person that should be beside him. He calls out Steve Maclin. Steve Maclin doesn't come out. Eric Young says he understands. He says he looked into his soul, that being Steve Maclin, and spoke to him, and it spoke back. Eric says he warned... Eric says that Steve Maclin warned him about Josh Alexander, so maybe he did it for Steve. He says, this business is not black or white, it's blood red, and that was it. Again, I don't care about a fucking Steve Maclin and Eric Young feud. It's a waste of time. We've already seen the match before. I'm tired of it. Get rid of Steve Maclin. Steve Maclin, at this point, just like Eric Young, is a gatekeeper. They are gatekeepers. Again, Maclin was only world champion for not even 2 months. He was champion for like 55 days. So I don't understand why TNA doesn't wash their hands of him and release him. Not being me, but I could see him going to NWA or even going to MLW. But Steve Maclin does not have it for TNA. He just doesn't. And, you know, he's boring, though. He's really boring. Like, the guy's not going to be world champion. The guy's not going to be X Division champion. He's just there just to put guys over. Eric Young, it's been time for him to go. For fuck's sake, you've already got rid of Rhino, which is good, but you got rid of Rhino, but Eric Young still remains? Like, come on. Get rid of Eric Young. You got rid of PCO. Eric Young should be in that number. Not being mean, but again, TNA needs fresh blood. Moving on. So, Mike Santana, he is at an AA meeting, which is Alcoholics Anonymous. So, Mustafa Ali comes in and says every single person here is an inspiration. He says the addiction made them do terrible things. Mustafa Ali tells them to take it one day at a time. He tells them not to put themselves in high pressure situations. He tells them to let the leaders lead and the followers will follow. He tells Mike Santana things can change, but people like him don't. I love this. This was fucking tremendous. I am so ready for the Mike Santana Mustafa Ali feud. This is great. I'm loving this. This is excellent. And the match should be good too. It really should. I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off by saying this. I'm a fan of Mike Santana. I like him a lot. I really do. But right now, it seems to me that they are trying to make Mike Santana a champion. And I know he wants to be world champion, but right now it's not the time for him to be world champion. I'm suggesting maybe he's the one that beats Moose after Moose is done feuding with Oba Femi. So I'm thinking maybe Mike Santana at some point this year will be X Division champion. But while Joe Hendry has the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, the guy who needs to defeat Joe Hendry would probably be, I'm going to say it, Elias. But it doesn't need to happen right now. I would probably have that happen maybe around Slammiversary. That's if Elias, commits, and that's if he's, fully invested in signing with TNA. But we'll have to wait and see. But I do think what they're going to do with Joe Hendry, it's going to end up being Nick Nemeth and Joe Hendry at Rebellion. And that's when Nick is probably going to turn heel. He'll probably turn heel at Sacrifice. because he's supposed to be back at Sacrifice, according to his sorry-ass brother. Moving on. So, this leads us into JDC versus Leon Slater, no DQ. So, JDC wins via the help of the system. Leon Slater did an awesome 450 splash. I mean, my bad. A swanton 450 through a table, which was awesome. So, he's about to go for the pin, but the system, they get involved, and they put Leon through a table, and then JDC gets the win, basically. So, the Hardys, they come out to make the save. They get taken out by the system. And then Oba Femi, the ruler of NXT, shows up. And he cleans house by himself. He takes out both guys. My bad. He takes out He takes out the entire system. And it's announced that it's going to be Oba Femi and the Hardys to take on the system for next week. That's great. Tremendous shit. Tremendous stuff. Excellent stuff. Moving on. So Tessa Blanchard shows up. She mentions her interaction with the doctor earlier, and she says she hadn't been cleared to wrestle. So the crowd gets on her case. She says they all follow her on social media, so sit down and shut up. So Santino Marella comes out. He's upset. He's pissed off. He tells Tessa that he didn't think that she could be a bigger weasel, but then proved them right. But then proved them wrong. So he says if Tessa doesn't wrestle next week for any reason, she's gonna be fired. So Masha Slamovich comes out and she makes quick work of Mia Moore. That's cool. So she wins via the Requiem. And then she's immediately attacked by Cora Jade, who takes her out. And she hits the JD DDT on her, that being Masha Slamovich. And then Cora walks up the ramp, and her and Tessa are laughing, and then that was it. Okay. Makes sense. I'm liking this. And it's going to be Masha and Cora Jade at Sacrifice. That's great for the Knockouts World Championship. Okay, great stuff. Good shit. Moving on. So, Santino Marella and Ariana Grace, they're backstage. They make Cora Jade versus Masha Slamovich official. And it's also going to be Spitfire versus Heather and Ash by Elegance. And it's going to have a special concierge stipulation. Okay. That's cool. Main event of the evening. Elijah, a.k.a. Elias and Joe Hendry, they defeat the Colognes, which is great. So Elias wins via a tombstone power driver. Nice. Great shit. Before the match got started, Ryan Nemeth, his sorry ass came out, and he said that Nick Nemeth is going to be returning at TNA Sacrifice in 22 days. Okay, that's fine. So, TNA was extremely solid. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Elias showing up and signing with TNA is great. The Colognes debuting is great as well. And then getting the Oba Femi to show up too, that kicks major ass. So, TNA is headed in the right direction for sure. I just hope that Elias decides to sign with TNA and fully commits. But we'll have to wait and see. But all in all, TNA was solid. Very good stuff. I enjoyed Elias showing up. I enjoyed Oba Femi showing up and destroying the system. That kicked major fucking ass. And I enjoyed the Cologne showing up. So that was cool. So a really solid episode for the most part, outside of the Eric Young and Steve Maclin stuff and the First Class stuff. Other than that, everything else on the show was pretty solid. What did you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.